Call the meeting to order. All those that can stand, please do so for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Okay, everything I told everybody else about switch the stuff around and back to normal.
See how important you are.
Okay, roll call, please.
We have everyone except for Mr. Howe. He's going to be joining us shortly due to a school event that he had to attend.
All right, can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I would move to approve the agenda.
Support.
I probably should have did the add-on things. Does that matter?
We can do it at the in the
Okay.
consent. All right, Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Howe, yes. Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, consent agenda approval. We were also handed tonight some additional items for the list of bills would be add-ons for February 13th. So item B would be include these add-ons. So can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I would move to approve the consent agenda with the additions to the list of bills for February 13th.
Support.
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right, so announcements and inquiry information. We get to do this every month. One day we close, and that's, so Highland Township offices closed Monday, will be closed Monday, February 18th in observance of President's Day. So today we have multiple presentations, and the first one is a grant from Genesis Credit Union to Highland Downtown Development Authority, and we have several people here that will be involved in that. John Bry from Main Street, Oakland, and Linda
Hammond from Genesis.
from Genesis, who's going to be presenting. Are you going to do anything, Brett?
No. I'm
Okay,
just
Brett's just here. Brett's from the Economic Development Group at Oakland County.
He's in for balance.
And from the DDA, we have Dale Fagley, Missy Dashovich, the director, and Cassie
Classic.
Blessing. I think I need more water. My brain did here. Who's also on the DDA. So we'll start with that. If you'd like to, John, take the front row.
So I'm John Breyer, Program Coordinator for Main Street, Oakland County. And this last year we launched 2 new grant programs that we are offering to the communities. And one of them is known as the Genesis Credit Union Micro Business Grant Award. And pleased to report that the Highland DDA applied to create a rent support program and was selected to be one of 5 recipients from across Oakland County Main Street communities to receive a $2,500 grant from Genesis Credit Union to help them in that effort. So we didn't know if Linda wanted to add anything from Genesis.
No, I just want to say that I'm glad that we're able to support these kind of projects because I think that they really help to develop the communities and support the communities, and so I'm glad that we can do that.
And they say that imitation is a serious form of flattery. I know 2 other Oakland County Main Street communities that heard that Highland was going to do this type of rent support program for businesses in the downtown area that want to now copy the Highland approach. So without further ado, we'd like to have Missy and everyone, Cassie, everyone from the DDA come up along with Linda and yourselves and do a little photo op of presenting the big check, kind of like Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah, you good.
You want support?
It's a great
Yeah, the board can come on up.
Get the rest of the board in here.
Brett's our cameraman.
Right here,
Okay.
Missy, right here.
What? You won't see me.
You put her in the middle, but you wouldn't see her forehead.
come by you. All right, I won't pinch you.
Oh boy, I wish I would have talked instead of taking the picture. Okay, ready? One more. Got it, thank you.
Thanks very much.
I told you, you got my message. I'm going to be there the first meeting. I make Carol call everybody with a verbal report.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Will that fit through the drive-through or not?
We were gonna mail it, but yeah. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that, and congratulations to the DDA for
They
that.
can deposit that through their phone now, can't
Looks like Haley's not here yet. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item. We'll do a little switch around here. Chief, I'm gonna let you take over. You've, pretty much the rest of that, this stuff is your bailiwick.
Oh, okay. Just real quick, read the letter real quick. 2018 Firefighter of the Year is with great pleasure to recognize Christopher Thompson as the 2018 Highland Township Firefighter of the Year. Firefighter Thompson started with our department in February 2016. In May of 2017, he completed his probationary requirements of Firefighter 1 and 2, Emergency Medical Technician, as well as his competency evaluation for the department. He was promoted to the rank of firefighter. Since leaving probation, Chris has not slowed down. Just like most of my staff, Chris has a full-time job, a family, wife Kelly, sons Evan and Cole. He works regular shifts at the department, attends training, and was recently selected as a member of the FTO Field Training Officer program recently established with our training division. Besides his family and the fire service, one of Chris's other passions is cooking, primarily grilling and chili. In 2017, after an untimely passing of firefighter and TV news anchor Ron Savage, Chris organized 2 Highland fire teams to compete in the Ribs on the River competition. In a crowded 30-team competition, one of our teams took a 3rd place trophy, and thanks to Chris's skills and his leadership. Chris has taken pride in the community, and his involvement in the department provided leadership to many of our members. Please join me in recognizing Firefighter Chris Thompson as the 2018 Firefighter of the Year. Chris, can you come up front, please?
Chief, come over this way and face the camera that way. The camera's over here, so.
Take your wife and kids over that way.
That's good.
Was that grilling chili or grilling and chili?
That was grilling. Actually, we had 2 teams out there, and we couldn't sell the stuff, so we had to consume it all. And it was a horrible.
Well done, Chris.
Yeah, Jim?
Hey, Chris, move up just a little bit further so the camera can see a little bit better.
Sorry. Actually, I wanted to get the Highland. That's fine.
Get the Highland down.
That's fine. Okay. Chris, you want to introduce everybody?
This is my wife Kelly, my oldest son Cole, my youngest son Evan.
Congratulations, Chris. Good job. The awards are actually given out at our banquet, so this is more of just a ceremonial to get them up, embarrass them in front of the public. So. And Haley's still not here yet. All right. Gary Bonham, R.J. Lennis, Mike Moore, Becker, and Ryan Kidd. Can I get you to stand right there in front of the podium? These are 4 of 5 guys that were on a run on November 20th of 2018. Today Ryan's in his fire uniform. On that day he was actually working for Star, him along with firefighter Mike Becker. Both work for Star EMS. They were on duty that day. I'm going to go ahead and read this really quick. On January 31st, 2019, we attended the monthly Oakland County Medical Control Authority EMS meeting. At this meeting, several of our staff were recognized by OCMCA for a run that occurred in our community November 20th, 2018. On November 20th, 2018, we received a call of a possible seizure located in our community. Highland Township Fire Department and Star EMS responded from our station. En route, responders were advised that witnesses were performing CPR. Upon arrival, crews assumed patient care, including BLS and ALS procedures. Thanks to the quick action of bystanders and early defibrillation with the AED, automatic external defibrillator, and outstanding performance by the Highland Township Fire Department and Star EMS emergency responders on scene, who are also Highland Township firefighters, the patient experienced a positive outcome, achieving ROSC. ROSC stands for Return of Spontaneous Circulation before arrival at the hospital. On scene that day for Highland Township Fire Department were Lieutenant Gary Bonham, raise your hand. Firefighter paramedic RJ Lennis, probationary firefighter Michael Moore, and Star EMS paramedics Mike Becker, who was unable to attend, and Ryan Kidd. Please join me in recognizing our staff and the citizens that stepped up to help save this patient's life. You guys are good to sit down. Just on a side note, we have one up right now. We're waiting to put up the other one, but the township purchased 2 ADs for township buildings. One's it's located, actually there's 3 of them total. One's here at Township Hall. It's in the main entrance as you walk in. The other one is at the Activity Center, Heidi's building. We're putting a 3rd one up over in the annex. I can't talk enough about early defibrillation. Next to high quality CPR, early defibrillation is key to saving any lives. That day, and hopefully you'll hear in a couple more weeks of another incident, having this type of device at hand truly improves the likelihood of saving the patient's lives. So I'd like to thank the township for stepping up and buying those devices for the township hall. All right, Haley's not here, so I'm going to go ahead and do hers anyways, and neither is Anissa. In 1995, the Highland Township Firefighters Goodfellows Association created the Humanitarian of the Year Award to honor the memory of Susan Billette. Susan was the daughter of a Highland firefighter that lost a long battle with cancer. Susan's parents, Chuck and Eva Billette, were instrumental in developing the Highland Township Firefighters Goodfellows Association. Humanitarian is a noun, a person who seeks to promote human welfare and philanthropy. The Goodfellows organization is the epitome of humanitarianism. With that in mind, the firefighters, along with the Billette family, created the Humanitarian Award in 1995 to honor their daughter's memory. There are no limits to who may receive the award. The award has been received by firefighters, local residents, persons from other communities. Those that receive the award have gone above and beyond to promote human welfare through uncommon acts. It is our pleasure to recognize firefighter Haley Kenworthy as the 2018 Humanitarian of the Year. Haley's involvement in fundraising to provide for those in need in our community made her the ideal recipient between her working shifts at the fire department, furthering her education to become a paramedic, which is where she's at tonight. Haley still found time to raise more money than the Goodfellows have ever raised in the past. She's a true humanitarian. Haley sent me a text before the meeting and said that she was trying to leave class to get down here in time, I'm sure because of weather conditions and everything else that kind of delayed her a little bit. Haley's been an asset to our department since since hiring on. I think she's probably at as many board meetings as I am because she's always receiving some sort of recognition. I did send you guys an email just the other day. A local resident was trying to get air in her tires. She's concerned about driving. They stopped by the fire station, walked in the door. It's kind of funny because Haley said she was like this, she's ready to take a bite of her lunch. And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to bother you, but I need air in my tires." She goes, "Oh, no, hold on." Dropped her plate. left a hot plate of spaghetti to go cold, went out, filled up her tires, made sure she was safe, got her on her way. Haley, she's the epitome of the humanitarian. And then the last one will be Anissa Grabowski, who is also not here. I'm sure she's at work tonight. You may remember Anissa from 2008. 16. That was, no, I was here. 2017. Haley started here, Anissa started here once prior. She got off probation, received her helmet. She got the opportunity to move to Arizona for a short time period. The state of sun and fun and retiring, better life. Apparently it's not a better life because it's hot. It's really hot. So she decided to come back. I'm thinking she's questioning her judgment now. Because she was gone for a year, she had to go through the whole process again. Of course, she had her firefighter and her EMT license still, but she still had to go through, we've had a lot of changes over the past year, as you guys know. New reporting systems, changes in operations, just she had to get back into the groove, and then she had to do her competency test again. She passed everything with flying colors, and she was going to come off probation tonight. I will have her come and sign her swearing-in process, and I believe that is all for me.
Well, let's give them a round of applause anyway.
That's it, I'm out.
Can I say
All right.
something? I'm sorry I'm late at the basketball game. But, I just want to say something about Haley. I just remember this summer at one of the concerts, and they had the fire truck out, and man, she was just so great with the kids, and the big kids too, that got to go on top of the truck in the front and take pictures, myself and a buddy of mine. It was kind of fun. So she was just, the way she was handling the kids, and my buddy had his 2 kids there, and it was just very impressive. It was just she did a nice job. I mean, I know I mentioned that before in this fall, one of the meetings, but I just, very impressed. So it's a great job.
I'll pass it on.
All right. Next item is public comment. Anybody have any public comment? Yes, sir. Joe, could you roll that out, please?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Dennis Raymond, 6039 Fish Lake Road, and my first comment is to Joe. Do you remember, Joe, when I asked for your help and back then, and you asked me how long I lived in Highland Township? I told you 30 years, and then you told me my problem would go away if I moved. That's what you told me.
That's not correct.
Yes, it is.
Joe.
That's not correct.
Well, that's okay. Come election time, I'll ask you for a debate. And then, so I want to let you know, on Monday, I won my lawsuit, okay, huge lawsuit against unwanted autos. And I'm sure there's going to be some repercussions on that. But to the other ones, Tammy and Supervisor and Brian, when I had my lawsuit going against the township, which I lost, you told my friends that Dennis Raymond's lawyer in our pursuit to make the township field enforce ordinance against non-compliant property owners. In doing so, 3 of them stated that I was unstable and I was crazy, and they said that they were concerned that I would come into the township and shoot up the place. You basically called me a terrorist. So now it's my turn. You 3, 4 are disgusting individuals. You don't even deserve to be on here. You called me a terrorist. So now I'm calling you a disgusting individual. I thought you had class. You have no class whatsoever. That guy down there, he hasn't voted against anything. He's just a lapdog to Hamill.
Bobblehead. I'm a bobblehead, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right.
You're right. So that's all I'm saying. You don't like it? Have Gary call my attorney and say I called you names.
I'm good.
There you go. So
good.
you're disgusted.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll
All
more
right,
comments
anybody
next
else have a
month.
public comment? Gary, you want?
I wasn't going to make one, but I would just like to say I lived here since 1964, and I think we have the most wonderful township in the state of Michigan. And I think we have a board that is dedicated and will listen, and that's my comment.
Can you ask him to name and address?
Gary, what's your last name and your address?
Cornelier, Cornellier, 3248 Lakeview Drive, Highland, Michigan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Proud to be in Highland, Michigan.
All right, thank you for that. Any other public comment? All right, we're going to move on to new business. 9A, consider hiring replacement for retiring building official. In the memorandum, I think I detailed pretty well what's going on. We have our current building official, Steve Davies, informed me last year, actually, in 2018, and said that he was planning on retiring in early 2019, March or April. And in that note, we needed to be looking for a new a replacement for him. Well, and just so happens that we have in-house, we had, we should say, a contract person who was doing our building inspections. His name is Steve Tino. Steve had gone through the process to make himself accredited for doing this particular job, and so what we did is we put out for advertisements for application in the hiring process. As described in section 1, page 3 of the current employee handbook, we received one application, and it was Steve Tino. So we formed an interview committee with the 3 in-house officials. We put them through the circle, and Steve had the answers that we needed. And the other parts that I'd like to say is that he's already completely aware of and has been working with our current employees. He has a great relationship with those employees. He knows how to use the BS&A software. He's certified in all the aspects needed for the position, which is something you just can't walk in off the street and do. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the hiring of Steve Tino as a full-time building official, ordinance department supervisor, to start employment on February 19th, 2019, at a rate of $30 per hour, not to exceed 37.5 hours per week, pending a background check. We did get the background check. He's passed the background check with no problem. There's probably going to be some questions on that, but that's a motion. So anybody want to second that?
Support.
Okay, we got support. Discussion?
When is the current person's final day then? Are they overlapping or?
There'll be a little bit of possible overlap. Steve is currently on disability because of Steve Davies, because of a knee replacement. So he doesn't know exactly what day he'll come back, but he'll come back for a short period of time, probably maybe days or less. And at that time, what the intention is to Steve Tino will be the new building official starting the 19th, and Steve Davies will be an assistant to him at the same pay he was earning before, but until he retires. So should be sooner than later, but I couldn't get an exact date out of him because he's still trying to work those things out. Any questions? All right. Like to vote on it, please.
Okay, I vote yes.
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 Motion
Steve, would you like to stand up so we can see what we've hired here? Thank you very much. As a side note, when I look at Steve, I see myself because a number of years ago I used to have the same beard, and, and it's kind of funny to look and say, hey, yeah, I used to have that same amount of hair on my face. Now mine's a little whiter, but you're catching up. So thank you very much. We really appreciate what you have done. You've stepped in Steve's absence and really been doing a great job, and we're really looking forward to having you on board. And like I said, he already works spectacularly with the employees that are going to be under his command here soon. So, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
All right, the next item, consider recognizing the Friends of Downtown Highland as an area nonprofit. The reason for this is that we have a program coming up called Chill at the Mill, which if you got your newspaper today or yesterday or whenever they came out, I think it might have been today, you'll see in the center page the proclamation that we're moving forward on this. It's a playground, play space over on the library property on M59. And one of the things we want to be able to do is to use, be able to have a gaming license, and this is for the Friends of Downtown Highland. So what's going to happen is the entity that will be receiving all donations and will be tax deductible is 501c3 that was formed outside of the DDA, but for the purpose of helping to grow and develop Highland. It's called the Friends of Downtown Highland. So this is an opportunity to be able to the charitable gaming licenses for some raffles that we'd like to do and other things. So I think there's going to be a quilt that to start off with that is going to be raffled off. There's also a timeshare in the Bahamas that will be raffled off, and hopefully there'll be some other things that will come along that we'll put to use. So I need a motion to approve the resolution.
I would move to approve resolution 19-05 for the charitable gaming license for the Friends of Downtown Highland.
Support.
Moved and supported? Yes?
So they have their charitable gaming license, I mean, they have their 501c3 already?
Yeah, it's been around for four or 5 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Okay.
Okay, vote.
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Let the games begin. Okay, the next item, Tam, I'm gonna let you explain this one for everybody.
So, in 2018, we had approved a purchase of grass rig skid units out of the 2018 budget, and those items were paid for and ordered in 2018, but they won't be received until 2019, and the auditors are telling us that we need to have it budgeted so we can recognize the expense in 2019. So that hadn't previously been added to that budget. So this is gonna just shift the budget towards 2019.
All right, motion to approve.
I move to approve the budget amendment for the 2019 proposed for the fire fund.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, next comes the part that I started this actually months ago. If the letter looks familiar, the dates have changed. Our contract with GFL expires on December 31st of 2019. And in that, the current contract we have is the ability to extend the contract for 3 more years ending on 12/31/2021. With no changes in the language of the service contract will be made with the exception of a 3.96% increase to the monthly unit price, and that's for the first year of 3 years. And then after the first year, it stays static. There's no more increases for 2 more years. So this is actually a request to sign an agreement to renew that contract. Well, in the process, we also had a meeting with Dan Garman and GFL Director Joseph Munham to discuss this renewal process. And there's an element that has come up with this, our relationship with foreign countries, number one, China, who takes most of our recyclable materials, and it turns out that they're not taking our recyclables, so we have no place for them to go. And if we want to continue to recycle as we are, then they would ask for $1.03 per month additional fee to send them to a facility that actually separates these products out. If we continue the way we are, they'll pick up recyclables as normal, but their form of recycling will be converting it to energy instead. So they'll take it to the trash burner in Detroit, and they'll convert it to electricity and steam. If at a future point things work out with China and we start to send our product back overseas and we can make that work, then they'll just automatically slide into that process. But otherwise, it's a whole different program for them to have to sort it out, and otherwise it'll end up in the landfill. So this is their alternative to it. So, anybody have any questions?
Mr. Hamel, just one
Yes.
correction. The township has the right under the existing contract to renew at the 1313 rate, I think.
Right.
And it's for 3 years, which would run through the end of 2022, not 21.
Oh, 2022. I'm sorry.
The other thing that I provided the board with a letter on it is that the contract, as I read it, does not mandate that GFL take the recyclables they collect to a, what do they call it?
Internal recovery facilities.
There you go.
There you go.
So I didn't find that change in how they dispose of it would be violating the contract or accomplishing any change in the contract conditions.
In terms of being able to sign a renewal.
In terms of your purchasing policy, in terms of whether you would need to do competitive bidding, I indicated in my letter, I don't think you do. So basically the board's choice is, do you want to exercise your right to renew the contract at that 1313 rate or not? And if not, then you would.
Well, to carry on with the explanation of this, the reason that I'm recommending that we renew versus take it out to for quotes on competitive quotes on it is that number one, GFL has absorbed at least 2 or 3 of the previous bidders that the last time we went out in 2014, I think it was. They are now GFL, and the competition is 2 other people, which would be Waste Management, I think Republic, but Republic is in the process of being purchased by GFL, so you're going to have 2 competitors. And based on research that we did calling other communities in the area, surrounding communities, our current rate is lower than what, the renewal is lower than what we'd be able to in comparison to other communities. So the last time we did this, it was Rizzo, and I have to say I'm kind of glad we did go out to bid, because there was some other faux pas that occurred with the legality of the owner of Rizzo, but that didn't reflect on their ability to do their job and to do it well. But in this particular scenario, the last time when we went out to bid, I was told by Rizzo that they would be the cheapest, and if we renewed, they would renew at a certain rate, and we went out to bid, and it cost the community $150,000 more, and we retained Rizzo. So it gave them an opportunity to jack up their rates, and we still, competitively, they were the lowest bid. And it's kind of the same scenario here, is that they pretty much know that they're going to probably be the competitive winner. And So rather than take the opportunity to lose the really insignificant increase, I think it's a good idea to renew it. I know there's been people that have had some issues with GFL, but if you looked in your packet, you'll see a lot of information that Karen Provo put together. One of the things that I think is kind of really points to how well they do is our average complaints are 6 per week out of over 13,000 stops. And if you look at the number of stops, the number of vehicles, they do it all in one day. The weather, you know, we've got a lot of private roads. That's where a majority of our complaints come, our private roads. They have difficulty getting the vehicles down some of the private roads. You guys live on an easy one, but some of them are curvy and single lane. But so, anyways, I'm pretty much, I'd say personally adamant that we renew it and not take a chance on jacking up our cost to the public on this project. So, yes.
Question, I'm sorry, would you go over that again about that $1.50 fee to continue? Is that per household? And
Yeah,
is
it's
that
$1
each year or just
$1.03.
one time? $1.03?
I think it's $1.03
And that's-
increase if we choose the alternative.
It goes from
recycling
13.13 to
option.
14.60.
You know,
Thank you
and
for
in light of that, you know, you're not comparing apples to apples, and if you're changing the program and we're not recycling anymore, you know, then
But they could collect
It's
it without
not-
recycling, that's what he's saying.
Well, we still
recycling
are
where you sell it.
recycling. They're just taking it to an incinerator as opposed to shipping it to China, which may actually be getting incinerated when it gets there too.
The other bidders have the same issue with recycling?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody is gonna have to pay that fee. no matter
Well,
what.
the object is you can dump it in the landfill, or you can convert it to energy. And if you pay the additional $1.03, it's going to go to some other company that's going to do the sorting, and they're going to make the determination whether it's ends up in a landfill or gets burnt or gets recycled into some other product. So you don't really, you just passing that control off to somebody else, and you don't have control over that. And I think the key thing here is when you talk about recycle means that you are getting something back out of the product. If you recycle those products, which is paper and plastic and a lot of other things, they all require energy to do so. So what's the trade-off in the energy to convert versus convert it to electricity and get it back in the stream immediately? So it's I would recommend going with the without adding the additional $1.03, but I mean, it's up to the board to discuss that part. So
just my opinion on this, I'm just throwing this out there. My daughter works for an environmental firm, and just this last weekend, she was talking to me about this same issue with the things that China's refusing to take them now, and we don't even know that they were handling those things responsibly anyways. So I think this is kind of an issue of protecting our environment, and so for my 2 cents on that.
how's it protecting the environment if we're burning the stuff? Plastics and.
But they're capturing that in energy, aren't they? That is my understanding
Yep.
is.
They're generating steam and
It's less-
electrical energy.
Right, less stuff in the landfill.
that won't degrade, so.
It's not like a burn pit.
Pardon me?
It's not like an open burn pit where they,
It's a giant incinerator, it burns up everything, including glass. Believe it or not, they can actually recapture energy from glass. But, which I was kind of surprised, but I guess it can happen. So, I guess,
So we're looking for a motion to.
Looking for a motion,
to
yeah.
Renew and a motion, a separate motion for the recycling.
I would say a motion to renew, and, Gary?
Well, a motion to exercise the township's right to the 3-year renewal of the contract at the agreed upon rate of $13.13 per month per customer. That would be a motion.
Wanna make that your motion?
Yeah, I'll make that the motion, yeah.
Okay. Support on that?
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 No.
Yes. All right. Wow. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Next item is a closed session. I have no idea how long this will take, but it's to talk about acquiring some property. That's as far as I can go. So we're going to take a break and go in the dome of silence
Motion, right?
and be back shortly. So motion to go into closed session, please.
Support.
And include the fire chief in the closed session.
And include the fire chief in the closed session.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported, vote?
Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
One in there.
Make sure.
Okay, we're gonna reconvene after closed session. I'd like our attorney to put together a motion for us to consider appraisal proposals for possible fire station site.
I would recommend the board consider a motion to accept the January 24, 2019 proposal from R.S. Thompson Associates, Inc. to perform appraisals on what the township attorney has identified as parcels 2 and 3 for the amount of $950 for each of those parcels.
So moved.
Okay, that was seconded by Judy.
Oh, did you
Judy
make?
said so moved, so she made the motion.
Support.
I made the motion.
Either way, it doesn't
Support.
matter.
Okay, are you supporting?
I can support.
Okay.
Okay. Rick and Judy.
All right, vote please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
I'd like to recommend a second motion, which would be to accept the February 7, 2019 proposal from Terzo and Bologna, Inc. to perform an appraisal on what the township attorney has identified as parcel 1 for the amount of $4,750.
Now you can say so.
So moved.
Support.
Wasn't that Shipman?
Shipman's the name
She's
of
a
the-
principal of that firm.
Oh, okay.
So it's moved and supported. I support it.
Yeah.
And vote please.
I vote yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right. Meeting adjourned.